So I meet a lot of diabetics that go on a keto diet. They've researched, they've gone online, maybe they've gone all over Google to try to figure out a way that they could help their diabetes as well as, maybe lose some weight, get some more energy. And one of the big diets that's out right now is actually keto. Keto is a very, very popular diet. It's pretty much everywhere, right? Any place you go online or even these groups are promoting keto. And people ask, well, is keto good for type 2 diabetes and reversing type 2 diabetes? So I'm going to actually get down to the nitty gritty of this so you can really understand more about, is keto the right thing to do to reverse your type 2 diabetes or someone you may know. So a lot of information. We're going to jump in right now. All right, so let's get rolling. So the first thing we have to look at, well, what exactly is keto? Okay, so I'm going to make this really simple. I know some people that are watching this have done keto. You've probably read 50 books on it. You've seen 100 videos. But I'm just going to make it real simple, keep it easy to understand. So basically, keto is a diet, right, and kind of a lifestyle that helps your body convert fats, right, which we see here, into energy. Now, in our body, we need energy and fuel, and there's different ways that our body is able to do that. So, for instance, it could take sugar from our bloodstream, it could take protein from our muscles, it could take stored energy from our liver, it could take it from a lot of different places. The way keto is engineered is to basically try to get fat to be the energy source, and thus it will create more burning of fat. Now, this sounds great, right? What could possibly go wrong here? And is it really going to address the root issues, which we're going to discuss right now? All right, so let's talk about the keto diet. Now, the way that diet breaks down, and everybody's a little different. Some people have little modifications on this, but the basis is you're doing a lot of fat, okay? You're also doing a lot of protein and very little to no carbs. That's kind of the way it typically goes in regards to how keto is presented. So, a person on a keto diet, they will load up on more of the fats, the oils, things of that nature, and then obviously the proteins and things of that nature. And then lastly, very little to no carbs. Okay, so that's how the keto diet essentially works. All right, so now let's talk about, well, is this the right thing for type 2 diabetics? And let's really look at this and see if, well, is this the right step or maybe the wrong step? And I think you're going to have to understand the way we look at this. Okay, so here we go. So the answer to the question is, well, it actually depends. Oh, I know that's not the answer you wanted, right? You're looking for a definitive answer. Dr. Spages, tell me, is keto good for type 2 diabetes? Is keto good not for type 2 diabetes? Well, we're going to look at it from a whole different point of view, which I think you're going to get a lot from. All right, so here we go. All right, so let's go to the next slide. So I always like looking at this diet scale. All right, so there are many diets out there. I did a whole video on this where I talk about all the different, it's like probably over 1,000 different diets, but there's different diets and everybody has their little spin on it. So essentially, a diet is anything you put in your body. So play along. If I eat pens all day, I'm on a pen diet. If I'm eating ice cream all day, I'm on an ice cream diet. But there are times where people try to use a diet as a way to treat something, right? Like if they have weight issues or energy issues. All right, so let's look at the scale here. All right, so the first thing we got to look at is, well, how does this play out? Well, we have one side of the scale, which is nothing but really dangerous foods. So this is your junk food, your fast food, your McDonald's, drugs, right? Like alcohol, and technically if you're doing pharmaceuticals, right? Those are essentially chemicals. They're part of your diet, so to say. So this is one scale. This is the scale we don't want to be on, right? This is like the worst thing you could do. You're basically neglecting yourself, right? This is the person who's chain smoking and eating fast food all day and alcohol. Well, they're not even trying to be healthy, right? Let's identify that for sure, right? Then we look at the other side, and this is the neurotic healthy, right? So and I meet these from times where these are the person who goes there and they are like neurotic, right? Like they're getting their beef, massaged before they eat it. It's flown in from Australia. They're doing all types of like really expensive things that they're buying. They invest in like building their own like hydroponic gardens. Like these are people who are just afraid of everything. They're almost going from a point of fear that they can't trust any food they eat. And then they're trying to do that. Now, where healthy sits is not in this neurotic zone. I think no one can function through neurotic zone, right? These are even where some radical diets come in. But healthy sits right here. All right. So it's not where you're eating all the dangerous food over here. Healthy is right here. And healthy basically means a healthy diet, right? You're eating good quality foods, things like that, right? So let's talk about where keto sits. Keto sits about right there. And why I answered the question earlier is, well, is keto good for type 2 diabetics? Now, in my office, I don't manage diabetes, right? Because some people think, well, if I do this diet and my blood sugar level comes down, I'm good. I take a different approach. I look at diet as a foundation. So you can't get better off of a bad foundation. You need a good foundation. So with keto, let's talk about if it's a good or bad thing. Well, if you're a type 2 diabetic and you're eating all of these bad foods here and alcohol all day and donuts and cookies and blah, 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 and you go to keto, right? Well, it's going to be an improvement, right? You're at least over here, right? Which is getting closer to this healthy diet. But the problem with keto, which we're going to go over in the next slide, is going to be that there's a lot of problems with keto, but we're going to get into the next slide. The issue we have here is that it's not really sustainable, and your goal is to really get into a healthy diet. So yeah, you're right. If you are going and you're eating all the wrong foods and junk food and all these things that are in the dangerous category and you go to keto, that's an improvement, right? You'll probably see better blood sugar levels and weight and things of that nature. But once you go to keto, that's not necessarily where you need to be in order to sustain long-term success, and even have a chance of reversing diabetes. Like I've never seen someone be able to reverse diabetes when it comes to keto. Okay, so that kind of answers the question there and how I think about it. But let's talk about what the problems are, right? Will keto actually fix type 2 diabetes? And the answer is essentially no, because it won't get down to the major issues. So keto is not the best option for type 2 diabetes. Let's look at each one. The first one is just because you do keto, it doesn't mean you're fixing the underlying issues. I'll give you a great example. Every week in my office, pretty much every week, I'll have 1, 2, 3, maybe even 5 cases of people that I meet that they have issues like even with infections in their body, right? Where it's in their gut or something like that. Well, no offense, like keto's not going to handle an infection, right? Or the adrenal glands are shot because they have a stressful life or relationship, right? Keto is not going to address those things because you need specific, like in my office, would be a protocol to address those particular issues. So the first thing is, just because you do keto doesn't mean you're fixing what's really making your blood sugar level an issue as well as your weight an issue. The next thing, it's kind of diet manipulation, right? You're trying to basically bully your body and with a diet to do something it doesn't naturally want to do, right? So that also creates a big problem. The next thing is it's really, really hard to do long term. And that's one of the things I find, right? Someone goes, this is how it usually goes in most people's houses, right? The husband or the wife or the male or the female are there and they want to lose weight. And they're on this pilgrimage, they saw something online or their friend motivated them, or maybe they got a health scare and they're like, I got to do something about it. And here it goes, right? They get going. They want to try this diet. We'll say keto, for instance, right? They go there, they get their workout shoes, they get their diet worked out, they read a couple books, they watch videos, they buy the supplements, right? They spend a couple hundred on supplements, and they're ready to take it on, right? They're ready to start losing weight. And they do it, right? Like religiously, and they stay away from certain foods, and they do everything, and they start seeing some progress. But then the progress slows down. Sometimes it starts going back the other way, so they try harder, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, because of how hard it is to sustain, they quit. And then they lose all the gains, and all of that motivation and energy that they spent is gone. And that's horrible. And no one wants to lose. No one wants to be a failure. No one wants to, constantly just be disappointed with not getting good results. And that's one of the issues I see is the long-term factor to it. The lastly is when you actually start eating normal food, it actually creates a shock in the body. Because your body is not used to it. It was set to do a certain thing, and now you have it shifting back, trying to do something else. And those things really put a big stress on the particular body. So I've never seen where someone does a keto diet, it actually getting to the root imbalance is what causes blood sugar levels and things of that nature. So I want you to look at this video and assess for yourself where you are, right? Like if you're eating all the junk food, yeah, maybe keto's the next step over, but I think there are a lot better options. Okay, so go to my website. I have a ton of resources, cookbooks, all different guides on there on really simple diets that you could follow. They're not going to be hard to do. They're very easy to do, and you'll find that at www.drjspages.com. In addition to that, I also have a really awesome Facebook group. So check out the Facebook group also, where there are a lot of people sharing things and a great energy and a great group of different diabetics that want to get themselves better. And obviously, our job is to go there and defy the odds, reverse diabetes naturally, and get a healthy quality of life. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got a lot from it and gave you some perspective on what is really the right diet. So anyway, have a good rest of your day, and remember, your body is born to heal, so be well and stay well. All right, take care.